All right, here we go. We're back. You know, all kinds of issues in this goddamn ocean streams town here. You know, this is real life live. You know, talking about this Nolan Wells case. Uh, well, kind of like a joke now. You know what we think it is. We think they're kind of like they're making a kind of starting up a script for a LMN movie. You know, that one channel. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing here. You know, so I think it's you know, they're trying to make it in you know, in this scenario. You know, everybody's lying, everybody's bullshitting, everybody's got a story. You know, and hey y'all, it wasn't like this in the previous cases that we covered on Real Life Live, and we had three of them. We're gonna talk about those too. You know, let's talk about that. Now, the first case, I think it was the Hannah Payne case. You know, that was in Clinton County, Georgia, I think it was. You know, and it was December 23. And you know, we were there. You know, it was a contact. You see what I'm saying? One choppy, but we were there. One contact, and there was you know, and we know, we all know this case. You know, the Hannah Payne case. You know, where she killed that old black gentleman. You know, who was just driving. You know, she just murdered him. You know, so she was guilty on all counts, and you know, and we were there. Okay, and it was no problems there. Okay, so we covered that. No problems, no police issues, no issues at all. You know, boom, done. You know, so and now let's talk about the second case we were covering. Now that was in December 12th, 23, and the next week we had coverage on the other case. That would be the Bryce Rose case. Next week. Yeah, it was the next Monday. It was December the 23rd. Okay, and he was wanted for triple murder, and he was convicted of that, and it was on December the 18th. 2023. You know, so you know we were there. You know, at the trial surroundings, no issues. You know, no police issues, no issues with the people. This was in Louisville. Okay, so there was no issues in Clayton County in the Hannah Payne case. There was no issues in Louisville, you know, for the Bryce Rose case. You know, what's the difference? Oh, wait a minute, we got one more. This was in 2024, and we covered this one. Now, this was the case of Teresa Black. She was a young African American or black female, beautiful. You see what I'm saying? But she got into a jam, and ended up her child got, you know, it wasn't killed. The child wasn't murdered or anything. She was convicted of concealment. In other words, she kind of hid the baby. She didn't kill the baby though, you know. Excuse me, y'all. And we were there, you know. And so, she was found guilty in DeKalb County. We were there, no problems. None at all in Decatur, Georgia. So we were in all these cases. No issues at all. In and out. Reports. We covered them. We got videos. We're not just talking. So here we go. But this shit is in Ocean Spring is wild. Okay. So this shit it's wild, and we're looking at the notes here. Now they're saying well, I'm kind of thinking this too. We're kind of like thinking about getting, we kind of think about getting out the underbelly of the Ocean Springs. We've been working under that. We're going to get out. See what I'm saying? It's lies, too much bullshit, too much. This ain't like our other cases. See what I'm saying? We'll let the white folks, hey, do their shit. You see what I'm saying? All they're doing is a bunch of lying and bullshit, and everything. They just they have hijacked this case, okay, and they're just playing with the case. It was almost like Nolan Wells ain't even, a factor no more. But we're gonna make it a goddamn factor. Well, let's see. Yeah. The killers, they get away with and it seems to me like they're getting away with some shit. But hey, that is what it is. It's that kind of town down there. Okay, this wasn't happening in the other spots. Okay, so when they make the movie, it's gonna be the killer wasn't the killer. Somebody else. Maybe Ledbetter and Cole Mary, and shit, and this is bullshit, Ledbetter for president with Cole as the first lady. Who knows? We're making a joke out of it because they're making a joke out of it. Everybody's drifting, getting paid. Like that sorry ass Sambo Coon, Joe Tatum, Officer Joe Tatum. Oh, wait a minute, Brandon. Okay, yeah, we've been calling him Joe. Where's Brandon? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Got the problem with, what we say, murderers and shit, living, running around, having fun on a government street and shit and playing like they running the town, which they seem to do. And nobody cares. Seems like the mafia's, running the shit, paying off, the citizens, as long as you get their money in the pocket, they're not really caring, about the crime and shit that's going on around them. As long as they're being protected, and here's the thing on these other cases, nobody was trying to cut somebody's nuts off like this one. Okay? And it wasn't like, in the other three cases, the killer was running three. You know, in two of them, the killer was on trial because they were killers, and the other one, Miss Black, well, she wasn't a killer, but she was on trial too. So it was all, on trial. In this case, the killer's still out there, and y'all know who we think the killer is. He's still out there. Okay, and let's keep one thing straight. Choppy's never killed anybody in his life. Okay, so never had to do that. He ain't gonna do it now. So that's why he just said, you know what, he's gonna pull out because still have to get everything as far as the questions with his contact and all that, So, and we'll follow the suspects, safely. Choppy was on one of the four cases that we've had. It was this one, kind of like, there because of the contact or whatever, but now he must contact the family. Because contact is presumed dead. Presumed. Mafia, maybe, not 100%, maybe not. We still gonna cover the case, but not in Ocean Springs because we can't get no honesty there, no truth. Everybody's scared. Wasn't like this in the other three. So, and by the way, we don't have no contract on being crunk. I don't know who started that shit. We're going to get that out the way right now. We don't have no contract on being crunk. Yeah. And by the way, and, notes, because we got to clean shit up sometimes, there is no confirmation that Ashley Cole, Dr. Hudson, and son have any contract on Choppy. No confirmation. We just think that happened. Confirmation. No confirmation. Speculation. And all speculations. Well, let's see this. Let's look at this. No confirmation on the girl on the street. No identity. Remember we told you that. We said, hey, this can be Ashley Cole. We suspect she has a double life. We tried to catch her. You know that. We said that. Couldn't catch her. Elusive. Maybe. Maybe it's her. Maybe not. All speculations directed at Dr. Benjamin Hudson are just that, speculations. All speculations directed at Judge Ashley Cole, or just that, speculations. So, we were talking about Big Ben, he's gone, but he's gone. He was a visitor, so I don't think maybe he didn't have nothing to do with it. He might not, he might just be gone. We said he disappeared from the scene. Now, the meeting spotted by Chompy's contact is kind of empty now, because of what happened, with the contact being compromised and all that kind of stuff. So we're not trusting anything. Told you that. Now it's kind of things are in flux. I have doubts about everything. This is the worst case, though, about war that we've covered. So, yeah, we don't think it's no contract on Chompy, bluffing everything, and, these people lying. He's not really. That doesn't scare him any goddamn way. So he's gonna and we're gonna close with hey, this is just a town full of lies and liars, and the whole town is full of LMN actors. They want to make a movie, y'all. That's why all the bullshit and evidence destroyed, all that shit. They're gonna lie and shit, playing games, blah blah blah. I'm tired of all the shit, but we still own it, and we do the real shit on Real Life Live here, So here it is. We'll be back, Like we say, it's a town full of liars and lies, and a town full of actors, allegedly. We say that here. Nobody else. We'll be back. Real Life Live with the real shit.